packet, I didn't see it on the agenda. So,
You can turn your volume off again. When not working?
but that will be this month, this meeting.
I'll move to accept the minutes.
I'll
All right,
second.
Thank you. Stu and Marty. It's on the so Tim, we will go over the quarterly. Okay. So where would you like to put that on the agenda? Did I miss that somehow? Whoa, there it is. Okay, top of the second page. Good, so no changes needed there. So we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the July meeting. Any need to change anything? I didn't see anything. So all those in favor of that motion say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. The minutes are approved. Access permits. So Bill's on his way. Oh,
I'll
he's
step in
here.
as Bill.
Okay. And are there anything there for access permits?
We do have movement permit 136579. This is the speedway on US 52.
Which I drove by on the way back from Pennsylvania.
There you
So
go.
it's still there.
So that permit was approved. It was issued last week. So that's moving forward. There is still nothing new to report about work across from the Subaru plant. That is still in the conceptual design phase. And that is all that I have to report. There isn't anything new at this time.
Okay, so any action we should take here on the Speedway one? There's nothing.
Nothing that I've been told. There is nothing to action at this point.
Okay, thank you. So the EPC Progress Report is item 3 on the agenda. I think Doug is going to talk about the coordinated human services transportation draft plan. You're going to brag about our coverage on Channel 18?
Yes, okay, if you saw it, I'm done.
Okay,
Ask for approval.
I read the transcript. Anyway, so.
Well, as you know, I previously reported,
Okay. Oh, thank you. I previously reported in meetings earlier this year. We told you about the progress in terms of developing the Coordinated Human Services Plan. Again, it looks at transportation issues for those who are disabled, those who are elderly, and those who have low income. We actually finished the meetings that we needed to have. We drafted the report. It is available on our APC website. You had a chance to look over it. The format follows the previous two. The original one was approved in 2008, and the first update, 2015. This is the second. It includes a review of all the transportation providers in Tippecanoe County, and thus we were able to put together a new resource guide, which is available. And then we have a fairly extensive, more than previous two reports, demographic analysis. We included a lot more information. So one interesting one, looking at veterans, especially 65 and older, also disabled, and then 65 and older and disabled. So kind of gives you an idea of where those persons live. And then after that, we looked at the issues these three groups faced. We did that through holding a meeting. Unfortunately, it had to be online. Previously, we had a meeting in this room where we could discuss and talk about that and then, communicate with each other. But unfortunately, because of COVID, we couldn't do that. After that, we had another online meeting to talk about the strategies to address these issues, and then assigned the strategies to whatever agency would be best to carry it out. As again, the draft report is completed, and now we are going through the public information notification process and adoption. This is the first group that we're presenting this to. We plan to present it to our Citizens Participation Committee on September 8th, which will be the public hearing for this. And then if everything is approves or looks good, and we will then present it to the policy board the following day on the 9th. So again, this is the first step. We're asking for your recommendation for approval for the plan. Are there any questions or comments that I can answer?
Well, I confess I haven't read the plan. I haven't gone to the link, which I'll do later today. So, but you're asking for us to recommend to the policy board. And you're recommending to us that we recommend to the policy board.
Approval of the document,
Approval,
yes. And I do have a paper copy if you'd like to see it, or if you just have to have paper.
So any questions of Doug at this time? And we would feel ready to vote on this motion that is yet to be made.
Doug's a pretty trustworthy guy.
Yeah.
I haven't had a chance, like Dr. Frick, I haven't had a chance to review it, so I don't want to make the motion.
But you'll vote for it if Stu...
I'll vote for it if everybody wants me to.
I'll move it on faith.
Thank you. That'll probably be in the minutes, too. So.
I'll second it on faith.
Thank you, Marty. So we're about to vote on something as described. Any questions of Doug? Now, does this end up also, you gave us a, in the past, and maybe reference to it last meeting, about this fold-out thing that...
Yes, that's the reference guide.
Okay, so I made the connection. Okay, so I feel better about it.
And if you'd like it in Chinese, Korean, Swedish, we can give you copies of those as well.
Are you ready for the question? So we have to save time for the quarterly review. So all those in favor of making the recommendation to the policy board to approve this plan, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Doug, you have your vote.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
Next one, so the TIP interactive map.
Yes, me again. This is actually a new product that we have not done in the past. Perusing the other MPO's websites, there are 3 others, specifically the Indianapolis, NERPC, Northwest Indiana, and Evansville MPOs that have an interactive map on their web pages that show where all of the TIP projects are. We decided that this was a good product to have, another way to present the information that's in the TIP. So 2 of our staff members, Maureen, you've seen here in the past, and then also our GIS specialist, Dalen, are the 2 staff members who actually worked on this task, and I'd like to thank them for putting this all together. It's really a great interactive map. It has both local projects and NDOT projects, and those actually that are just for information only. So when you go on the APC Transportation Improvement Program webpage, right underneath the information about the new TIP, it's right there. You can click on the information and the map pulls up, and then you'll see where all the projects are located. So again, this is a new product that we put together. We thought it'd be another way that people could see where their gas tax money is going. Questions or comments?
This is on, this is through Portal and GIS? Is this the way this is linking?
I believe so.
So is this going to be part of, I believe they're going to go public with that portal?
No, this is a separate standalone product.
So you're not going to link it into that?
We could if we wanted to, but as of right now, we're not.
Okay. I think it'd be neat if you did. Because we're in there, Surveyor's in there, you're in there, with other layers. It'd be kind of neat to, because because I know Shelley's been adding all of our paving and all of our projects. We have a layer already in there for us.
Mm-hmm.
Just a thought, seeing as how I moved approval of your,
One step at a time.
Okay, any questions about that? There's no action needed, we're just.
That's
I'll
correct.
look
It's
at
for
it. Use it.
information.
Yeah. Next item would be the NDOT fiscal year state TIP and TIP update.
Yes, kind of give you an update on this daily soap opera that's been going on now for a while. Of course, the draft STIP has been submitted to Federal Highway for their review. They did review it, made numerous comments. The one most challenging comment is that the projects that are listed in the MPO TIPs do not match the projects that are listed in the STIP, which you can't have. They have to be the same. So the question is how to move forward. There were a number of meetings held recently, and the decision was to take the draft STIP and update it to respond to all of the Federal Highway comments. The next big step will be actually all of the MPOs working with central office to make sure that the projects that we show in our documents match what should be in the document, the STIP document in itself. So that's the next biggest task that we're looking forward to doing. They estimate, or at least central office estimates, that this should be done in 6 months. So hopefully in December, the new STIP will be updated and done. In the meantime, what happens to our new TIP? Fortunately, it has been approved by the governor, so we are good to go on that front. Now, the next question is what happens after that? Central office has decided that all of our new TIPs will be amended individually into the current STIP. So any projects that are shown in fiscal year 2022 and 2023 will be good to go. Anything in 2024 and out will be just for informational purposes only. We have not received word yet when our TIP will be amended into the STIP. They are processing an amendment at this time, and unfortunately, none of the MPO TIPs are listed. So I'm hoping that next month our TIP will be amended. So for us, at least, we can still move forward. It looks like, I'm hoping within a month, we'll be able to just, if we have to, modify or amend one TIP. And that's basically the status in a nutshell. Questions or comments?
All right, thanks for explaining that. And you're going to report to us about the MPO conference. Is that, or somebody else? Okay.
Hello, David Hiddle. This is just informational. You'll recall last year the Lafayette MPO hosted the statewide MPO conference, and because of the pandemic, it was just a one-day virtual thing. Well, we had intended to go back to the 2.5-day conference format that it's been in the past, but after polling across the state and with our federal and state partners, it's been determined that there's not much comfort with that, especially recently. So it's going to be, again, a one-day event. It's going to take place October 28th, and we're in the process of programming for that right now. So that's about all I have to add at this point. If you have any questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dave. 18-month letting list is next.
Well, you can see we have enough projects that fills 2 pages. Project number 1 that was on the August 11th bid letting. This is a district-wide project, and it is shown as pavement maintenance, but actually the type of work has changed to pavement patching, so a slight change with that. There were 2 bids actually submitted for this project, and unfortunately, there were issues with the bid that was submitted that was the low bid, and then the second bid was well over the engineer's estimate. So both bids were rejected, and it has now been moved or placed on the October 14th bid letting. Looking at September, there are a few projects coming up on that bid letting, and as you see, they are all related to bridge maintenance. And then if you look a little bit further down, projects 7 through 18, again, are all related to the widening of I-65 north of the Wabash River bridges. Still on track for a November bid letting, a lot of projects. Project 19 is a new project, a district-wide bridge maintenance project. And then if you go to the second page, of course, project number 24 keeps moving up to the top. Sagamore Parkway Trail, still on a January bid letting. Looking further down, projects 38 and 43 are new projects. And then projects 39 and 40 have changed. They were originally scheduled for a July 2022 letting, but have moved to an October 13th, 2022 letting. And as you can see there at the bottom, we have 2 local projects, Jaeger Road and the McPherson Pedestrian Safety Project. So in a nutshell, those are highlights of the 18-month letting list. Any questions, comments, concerns, funny jokes?
We don't joke about the letting list.
Okay.
Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
And there it is on the agenda, the quarterly progress report review. So I guess, Tim, you're going to take it over from here? All right.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and start with the county projects, the first of which being Klondike Road. So we didn't have much to say about this project. We do know that the POs are closed, so we know we're not going to be getting reports for this for too much longer. So Stu, did you have anything to add about that?
No, the NOT was in, it shouldn't show up in the next quarterly.
All right, sounds good. So we'll move on to the next project, Lindbergh Road. So this one, we know construction has started. So similarly, we don't have any comments about this one either. Stu, do you have anything that we missed?
They're cement stabilizing, on track for November completion, as long as West Lafayette doesn't get no eye.
Okay, so the next project then would be North 9th Street. So we know this one's still pretty early on in the process, and consultant selection is underway, and we'll have a little more data about the consultant probably by the next quarter.
Selection is in and approved, and we're in contract negotiation with VS.
All right. Moving on to the next project, that would be River Road. So similarly, this one we've been getting reports for a while. No substantial changes to this as far as we know. Do you have anything to add on this one, Stu?
No, utilities, have driven out there, contractor moved in, put up the wall so utilities could finish relocation this year, and then it'll be closed next year to finalize. Everything's on track. Water line materials are supposedly in, they're getting ready to do that work.
All right, thank you. So moving on to the next project, Morehouse Road. So this one, we know that there are some changes to the finances, but that those changes are just because we're trying to match tip and stip values and trying to also get the project split properly documented. So this was the first of two of them that we got a report for. So unless you want to add anything about this, Stu, we didn't have much to say on this one either.
No. The second one's fairly blank in your report because it hasn't got a schedule. It's still a work in progress, the splitting.
Right, so the only thing I wanted to note about the second one is something that Stu brought to our attention, which was that in NDOT's LQR system, this was listed as phase 2 of the project. However, it looks like it might be constructed before the other phase, so we're going to work with NDOT on getting all that documented properly. So we will sort that out, but it looks like things are progressing with this project, which is overall good news for sure.
Yep. We're in right-of-way acquisition right now.
Good. Okay, so the next project, so we're still in the county here. So this is the Jaeger Road reconstruction project. There was a small cost increase on the PE that we noted, which caused a small total cost increase. Anything unusual about that?
No, that was the old alignment where it hit 500 north was a quarter mile off of 150. So that was the adjustment, was we just moved that north terminus so that it lines up with 150 and goes clear through to 600 north eventually.
So
that
then,
was 100% local.
so we just basically had to pay extra to redo the engineering, yeah. All right, so next project, McCutcheon Pedestrian Safety. So in your comments, Stu, you noted that the AI is pending approval. We were just curious as to what caused the need for an AI.
That was basically the utility coordination on the trail side, the west side of Old 231, along the subdivisions where we're building the trail, and working and going through utility coordinations, we did some shifting. Hasn't affected the right-of-way, though. We're still on track with that.
Got it, thank you. Okay, so moving on to the bridge projects. So the next one would be bridge number 64. We didn't have much to say about this. Looks like it is progressing. As far as we can tell, it's on track to hit all the milestones. So any additional information we need about that one, Stu?
Not really. They're both 64 and 65 will let as a pair. They're programmed in different DESs, but they're moving to letting together.
Yeah, that makes sense. It looks like Bridge 65 did have a small increase in construction cost.
Yeah, it's more of a design probably than a construction. There's a difference of opinion between us and the designer whether that's an increase in construction cost or not.
Gotcha. Okay, so speaking of bridge projects, bridge number 527. So this one, we did want to know if it was on track to hit the stage 1 design milestone, which is listed as October of this year. Do you anticipate that we'll be able to meet that?
Yes. I did a follow-up with them just to make sure, because, you know, I got the assurances, and before we had the quarterly review with NDOT, just to make sure, and I got more of a detailed, I did not bring it with me, but they're on track.
Okay, good. Glad to hear that. So then the county bridge inspections. So this is one that we normally receive a quarterly report for, but for whatever reason, it did not show up, at least on my end, in the LQR. Is that just something that happened as a fluke?
I'll have to check on that. We changed ERCs, and our New Year's ERC may have missed that. I'll double check why that wouldn't be in, and why I wouldn't have gotten a nasty letter from NDOT also.
All right, well, we'll just look forward to seeing what happens with that next
Yeah,
quarter.
I mean, I can kind of update it, that they're in phase 2A, last in. September is our month for completing the last phase. Selection, RFP went out, we've got proposals in, we're going through selection for the next contract right now. Moving along.
Very good. So moving on to Lafayette then. So starting with the Tippecanoe Boulevard reconstruction, everything was pretty much the same, especially since we're down to the punch list. Jeremy noted in his comments that there was one punch list item remaining, so we didn't have any comments. We're sort of assuming this will be out of the quarterly report cycle pretty soon. Jeremy, is that fair?
Yeah, we got that punch list item completed, and we should be closing things out shortly.
Great. Okay, expected to close shortly. Very good. So then our next project would be Park East. So Jeremy did note that there were some cost adjustments, and the city will be paying 100% for a couple pending change orders, which bumped up the numbers there that we have highlighted. So thank you for noting that for us, Jeremy. Other than that, we didn't have any comments. Did you have anything you wanted to add about this project?
No, it's going well.
Good. Okay, our next project would be Concord Road trail lighting. So somewhat similar to Twickenham. Just when you filed this report, you noted one punch list item remaining. So again, expecting that to be closed out pretty soon as well.
Yeah, that we're still waiting on those.
Was that the one where they had to replace the pole or whatever because it got hit?
No, these are the skirts on the lights. They ordered 4 of them, and they were not the same color inside as the rest of the skirts, and so they had to order new ones, and for some reason these are taking an extremely long time to get here.
Okay, well, I suppose there's nothing you can really do about that, so we'll just wait then. That's fine. So next project would be South 9th Street. So you note that utility coordination is underway, preliminary field check design is underway. So we did see a cost reduction. We were just wondering if this is something that's going to continue to be fluctuating, or do you kind of expect these newer numbers to hold steady, or do you have any insight on that, Jeremy?
No, I looked back at the report, and what happened is the CE fell out of it. So that difference of $636,000 is what we had on the CE line, and it needs put back in there. So it really didn't change, or shouldn't have changed.
All right, we will keep that in mind for next time, and we won't say anything about it when it changes. Thank you for letting us know. Okay, so going to West Lafayette for our last couple of projects here. So the first one is the Soldiers Home Road project. So we know this is still something that we're waiting to get an updated project schedule after consultant selections complete and all that. We did note some cost increases, so especially in the right-of-way. So Mitch, did you have any insight on that as to what's driving the costs up, or any comments you want to make on that?
Yeah, with the PE increase in cost, that reflects the contract amount we'll be entering into next week with the consultant that's been selected. We'll submit a FEMA's request shortly after that contract is executed. The increase there kind of coincides with the right-of-way increase. There were more parcels than we expected after going through with the consultant on what we thought was feasible for the project. So there's more right-of-way take than we had expected, and that increased up right-of-way engineering as well as right-of-way services. So that's what the increase would reflect in total.
Okay, got it. Yeah, that happens sometimes on these projects, as all of you guys know. So just something we got to deal with, I guess. Okay, so last project, Sagamore Parkway. So for this one, this is kind of some of the same stuff that we've been talking about in the last couple project tracking discussions we've had. But we're still keeping a pretty close eye on these milestones. Our concern is that we just want to make sure that we can get you guys federal funding, within the fiscal year that you're asking for it. We don't want that to slip, because then we wouldn't have any money we could give you. So Mitch and I have been corresponding back and forth on this, and all I would say is if we can just continue to get any updates as you get them, just for this project specifically, it is helpful for us to be getting updates a little more frequently than the quarterly cycle allows. So we would just ask Mitch if anything that you get from them, especially on scheduling, if you just pass that along to us, that would be very helpful.
Absolutely.
Especially for Doug, since he has to very closely track the TIP funding for this, and we want to make sure that.
In our stage 3 design, submittal is due on Friday this week, and we're on track with that. Last I checked with the consultant on Monday.
Okay, great. Very good.
The main thing holding us up on the environmental, we're pretty much at 99% on both stage 3 and environmental. There's a joint use maintenance agreement with NDOT that is still routing for signatures. Unfortunately, the person over in NDOT that was responsible for routing that was on vacation when we sent it over. So she's back this week, and it's at central office at this moment from what I last heard. So making progress.
All right, great. So it sounds like you guys have been able to jump over some of these hurdles, and that we're back on track to hit our milestones. Good. Thank you. Any other comments you have on this project that we would need to know, Mitch?
No, not this time.
All right. So that is the end of my list. So I'll just open up the floor for anyone who has anything that we may have missed in these discussions. All right. Well, in that case, I think we can consider the quarterly project tracking concluded for this meeting.
Thank you, Tim. Next item on the agenda is other business, if there is any. And then citizen comments. As we prepare to adjourn this meeting, then I'll point out that our next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, September 15th, same time and place. And unless you hear otherwise, it'll be in person. So, all those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. And we are adjourned at about 2:39. Thank you all.